So, there's no easy way to put this, but I spent about 3 hours last night watching the Nickelodeon original movie, Drake and Josh Go Hollywood. And I'm not proud of it, but I sat through the whole thing, and I'm now admitting it to you here at Alcoholics Anonymous. Animation. No, wait, it's not anime. Sitcom Anonymous. And it's not my proudest moment, but I'm here to confess my sins.
You know what? I don't think that I want to be your guest on the podcast anymore, Vinny.
Cue the ending music. Hey guys, how's it going? Hey guys, Scare's here.
It's me. It's your boy. I'm back.
It's your boy, not Matt. Matt was busy doing stuff that I'm not allowed to talk about. Hookers, he gotta pay hookers to be on him. But he's busy. He's busy with issues right now, and it's cool because I needed another podcast guest, and Jacob really doesn't have a life, so he's pretty easy to,
Okay, right,
in.
sure. Says the one who sits on his floor playing with wooden Thomas the Trains. I mean, could you believe it? Playing with wooden trains? Like, come on, buy some Bachmans, you loser, you nerd.
Okay, two things. One, it's Bachman, and two, I started this episode.
Thomas Woodrow is cool.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, okay, shut up.
I started this episode admitting to watching the Drake and Josh movie, and you didn't use that as a roast. That was a missed opportunity, bro. Thoroughly missed opportunity.
Because that's not as big of an issue. Like,
it's pretty bad.
Playing with wooden trains is the worst crime you can commit. Watching a Drake and Josh movie is just disappointing.
The worst crime you could commit is forging fake currency for the U.S. from the U.S. Treasury, and that was the crime that the villains had in the Drake and Josh movie when Megan, accidentally takes the plane to Los Angeles.
Megan.
And they have to go through wacky hijinks. I love watching them. I think the most interesting thing to me about watching Drake and Josh is watching Josh Peck's evolution from this chubby, fat, short kid to this like slender,
beefy hunk,
beetle-haired like emo kid. Because you look at what his hairdo was in the Christmas special from like 2008, and he's like super tall and thin, and he's got like this like almost like emo Peter hair from Spider-Man 3, and it's like wait, this is really the same character as the fat short kid from this is supposed to be the same guy. Huh. Interesting. It's just so the fucking movie was in like 2005, and it's like halfway between it, so he's still pretty pudgy and he's got like the long curly hair, but he's tall and sort of pudgy, so it's like the weight in his body is yet to really redistribute itself evenly, and it's like he looks kind of like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man stretched out. It's kind of funny.
Vinny, please tell me it wasn't that long ago. 2005?
Jacob and Vinnie Go Hollywood. Drake and Josh Go Hollywood was shot in 2005. And was shot in 2005 and released in January 2006.
I thought that shit came later. I thought that was like 2007 or 8. Like, I thought that was
you got the first season of Drake and Josh is 2004, following their amazing career on the best. And this is actually not sarcasm. The best child equivalent to Saturday Night Live is hands down the Amanda Show.
Or put it this way,
fucking funny as hell.
Hands down, the best and only funny Nickelodeon show with live action.
It's genuine. I watched this episode or this clip a couple nights ago about, again, this is, I don't know why, I go into little phases of being interested in stuff from my childhood. I like watched a VeggieTales tape like 2 summers ago, and I got into that for like a week, and then I was like, VeggieTales is fucking dumb Christian shit. Yeah, vegans. Oh shit! Yeah, you're right. But I guess I went.
Did it really take you a second to register?
Shut up. But I just found it interesting how, like, with all the Dan Schneider sexual allegations and making
Feet.
kids, yeah, and feet and weird shit, I just found it so interesting. I was like, oh yeah, I used to really like Drake and Josh. I'm not even making this up. I remember I was introduced to Nickelodeon through Fairly Odd Parents. And through that, I discovered SpongeBob, and then gave less and less of shit about Fairly Odd Parents. But I really liked SpongeBob, and I watched the Nicktoons and whatever. And this is about 2004, 2005, and I was a very little kid, so you might not believe me when I say this, but one of my first memories, I was probably 4 or 5 years old, and I remember tuning into Nick to watch, I don't know, Cat Dog or something like that. And an episode of Drake and Josh starts playing, and I swear to God, I have this initial memory of saying, "Oh no, they have a Laffy show now," meaning they have a sitcom with studio laughter. And I remember saying, "Oh no, they have," like, as if Drake and Josh was the first Nickelodeon sitcom, or like the first live action, because I had only seen the Nicktoons, the cartoons, and so seeing Drake and Josh the first time, I was like, oh, they have a Laffy show now. Nah, damn it.
God.
But I don't know. I found it sad because I thought it was a Cartoon Network, if you will. Yeah, but that's my rant about that's my little tangent about Nickelodeon. I like Drake and Josh. It still holds up, even though Josh Peck is an overactor, for sure. And watching Drake and Josh Go Hollywood, there's definitely some odd fetishizing of a small girl going on there.
Yup, and feet. What?
She's Megan is walking around in a hotel alone in a bikini, and it's like the beginning of a really weird child porno. It's not at all comfortable material. And you can see at the end, written and produced by Dan Schneider. Really? I couldn't tell. That's crazy.
Oh, you can tell when it's by Dan Schneider. Let me tell you.
Yeah. But what's been going on with you in the past couple months, Jacob? I've been working on videos and this film project, which will remain anonymous. Which I'm sorry. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna break it to you guys right now. I'm telling you guys what this big film project is. It is a
porno.
No. It is a live-action adaptation of Calling All Engines. That's right. It's Calling All Engines. I'm doing a wooden railway and live-action hybrid remake of Calling All Engines.
So the sex scene, so that's not for the Calling All Engines.
The sex scene, well, okay, I guess, okay, if I have to admit to remaking Calling All Engines, then I guess I'll admit we're going to do the whole franchise, because I really have no life, and we're going to remake Great Discovery and Hero of the Rail. So actually, I was getting a head start with Jacob. Head start. And we did shoot the infamous Bash and Dash sex scene from Misty Island Rescue when he was here in October. So you guys have a lot to look forward to.
You gave me a cardboard Ferdinand outfit, like a 3-year-old Halloween costume.
I gave him a Ferdinand sex toy, which if you press the dick goes, that's right, that's right, that's right, that's right. Oh yeah, and if you have the Switch for the adult version, it's yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, give it to me. That's right.
So how cracked out was I? Because I don't remember that detail. I do remember.
I have over 3 hours. I have over 3 hours of footage of you with your Misty Island ball gag on, taking it up the ass from Ferdinand. So
that's great. That means that now the actual now that Misty Island Rescue is actually going to be, there's going to be something for the adult viewers. There's going to be something to watch. There's actually going to be substance. Yeah, because
that's the thing. Reading the Amazon reviews of Magic Railroad and
love it, dude.
And
the
all these
other
are gonna
go crazy over this. They're going to love this.
It's going to be dope. But expect expect the live action Wooden Railway hybrid remake of Calling All Engines to come out in Christmas 2018, and every 3 months a new film will follow, because it only takes 3 months to make a movie, you guys. That's definitely true. Definitely true. So ever since then, ever since we did shoot that, what's how? Actually, you know what? Let's get a little more specific. How was your day today, Jacob Jarrett?
Uh,
What did you do today?
I did a record amount of crying.
Is that true?
It's very true.
Why did you
shit.
cry? Can you please explain to all of your adoring female fans, who will really get more sympathy?
Don't be sexist, Vinny. You gotta include the males. We love all.
Oh,
people,
you're like Nazi friend or whatever. Sorry.
Well, truth be told, I was crying because I got the call from you earlier today saying that we'd have to do a podcast, and it really just broke my spirit.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah. So, Jacob here, he's a good friend of mine. I don't know if you guys, because that's the thing. Some people wouldn't know him. Jacob and he's been on the podcast before, but Jacob does some pretty amazing figures for the TCC and for his own content. He's a memer, he's a streamer, and he's a dreamer. So that's who our guest is this week. Matt MPS, he will be back next week, and we will have a very special episode. I've been wanting to do this for a couple months now, and we were going to record it today. Matt was busy, so I got this guy on instead. So we're not going on a huge break again, MPS being gone and whatever. He's just busy today, so next week
I was the last resort.
You were the first resort. I wouldn't ask anyone else, man. You were the first guy I went to. Because
okay.
I knew you would say yes, because you have no guts.
You know me. You know me too well.
Oh yeah, but would you care to so now that we've got the introductions over with, would you care to explain to the audience what exactly we're going to be doing today as the main? We done our introduction. We done our little monologues about Drake and Josh and calling all porn and whatever. But what are we going to be doing today? It's almost as erotic as a Ferdinand ball gag, but not quite. What are we doing, Jacob?
I don't know.
Yeah, you do.
I forgot.
Oh my god, I told you what we're doing.
Live streaming my suicide.
How about I send you on Twitter what we're doing? We are we are reading out loud for your listening pleasure,
Thomas,
some really
friends.
amazing erotic Thomas fanfiction from none other than fanfiction.com. It's not DeviantArt.
Thrilling.
So the first one we're going to be reading here, and we will read it.
And hopefully the last.
Well, we'll see how this one goes. But I skimmed it briefly, and it's got some good stuff in it. This first one comes from a Raffiana at fanfiction.net, and it's called Secret Love. Thomas and / Edward, my favorite pairing in Thomas and Friends. Also, Stanley and Emily.
But isn't Edward like 9 years old and Thomas is like?
So this is we've got a. I'm glad that we introduced this podcast with Dan Schneider because I think we have a similar situation with Edward.
You know what?
And
But I
Thomas.
think this is fine. I think we need more age diversity. This is the kind of representation we need.
Exactly. Oh Jesus! Oh, this is good. Okay.
Oh, this is bad. Oh God.
So
Oh,
how about?
God.
So I'll read the narrator and you read all the characters. Okay. So we didn't make this up. This is a real story
How long
that
is
someone.
this? Oh my.
It's not the fact that someone wrote this that's bizarre, because people do weird stuff, bizarre things all the time.
I do bizarre things all the time.
Yeah, I mean, like, why did you go to my house twice? That's bizarre. But it's the fact that someone decided that not only should they write this, should they complete this, should they proofread and change and work and fix this literary piece, but should they post it on the internet? Oh, yes, they should. They thought that it was a good idea to post this on the internet so that, teenage assholes could later come in.
Vinny.
Yes?
Vinny, people can do whatever they want. They can do whatever they please. The pursuit of happiness, it's all up to them.
Oh yeah,
Can't be doing
destiny.
this. You can't be doing this, man. It's very mean.
All right, so with that, okay, so Jacob supports
Very bad.
this. Jacob supports this. He thinks this is a fair, pure, honest story.
Art. This is
so
art.
let's. Okay, it's art. So
People
Jacob,
do whatever
Jacob,
they
you
want,
read.
whatever makes
you
them
do,
happy.
Jacob. You do all the voices. I'll be the narrator. I'll do Ringo Starr for this. So this is Thomas and Friends. Thomas and Friends, season 1.
That's not what Ringo sounds like. That's not what Ringo sounds like.
No, Thomas the Tank Engine, season 1, episode 27, called Secret Love. Secret Love. Thomas hummed a soft tune to himself as he steamed into the yard with his train. He ran his hand over his face to get some hair out of his eyes and smiled to himself. He was on his way to the yard to get his coaches, to see his friends Annie and Clarabelle. They were like his older sisters to him in a way. He met them when he first arrived on the Northwestern, it's one word, Northwestern Railway. After saving a close friend of his, Thomas got his own branch line. Again, branch line is one word, branch line. Annie and Clarabelle became his watchers, in a way. Because while he also got a branch line and his coaches, he also got Annie and Clarabelle, who were like flight attendants, but for the coaches. When he got to the yard, he expected to see Annie and Clarabelle. Instead, he saw Stanley and Emily. They were standing in front of their trains. Stanley had his arms wrapped lovingly around Emily. While Emily had her arms around Stanley's neck. Her arms tangled in his silver hair. So I think Stanley is also an older man here. Their foreheads were touching and...
He just dyed his hair. Who are you to judge?
Their foreheads were touching and they were laughing softly, exchanging quiet and peaceful words between one another. Thomas chuckled at the affectionate display between his friends.
What's up with you two?
He asked as he stopped his train and stepped out of his cab. He stepped out of his cab.
You gotta climb down. That's like a 4-foot drop. If you want to say goodbye to your ankles and kneecaps,
fuck him up. Stanley and Emily broke away from one another with small blushes, tinting their cheeks as they smiled at their friend.
Hey, Thomas,
said Emily.
That's Emily. Hi.
Thomas smiled.
Well, why are you two so close,
he asked. Stanley chuckled as he once again took Emily's hand into his own and gazed her lovingly for a moment and looked back at Thomas.
Well, it's Valentine's Day, Thomas, and I figured we'd spend some time together today.
Thomas was puzzled.
Are we doing this?
We're doing this.
He doesn't know it. Okay. Valentine's Day? What's that?
Emily nodded.
It's a day where you either confess to your loved one or spend time with them. The love is for both friendship and romance, where you tell them how much you love them. It's educational. But be honest.
Stanley said as he wrapped his arms around Emily's waist and pulled her close.
I do that every day.
Emily giggled as blush covered her cheeks.
Oh, Stanley!
Thomas smiled at the two, but then frowned, lost in thought.
So, you confess to someone you love them?
He asked. Stanley nodded.
Well, I mean, you can...
Somehow.
You can do that any day, but why not this day? He smiled. I mean...
Bitch, that's my line, said Ringo.
Then say it.
It's your fucking line.
Why do you ask?
Emily questioned before she gasped.
Do you love someone?
She squealed.
Oh, who is she? Who is she?
She asked, assuming that Thomas was not a homosexual, jumping up and down in excitement.
Oh, Thomas, Mum. Oh, fuck.
Thomas mumbled. It's your internal.
It's actually shut. It's actually Edward I want to confess to. I actually want to keep her a secret. I don't even know how to tell her.
He said.
Oh!
Emily mumbled.
Well, how about watching the sunset by Black Lock? Sharing a beautiful view with her would remind her why she loves you, and vice versa.
Thomas thought for a moment.
I might do that, thanks. Thomas!
The boy in mentioned turned around and saw Annie and Clarabelle staring at him with their arms crossed, an amused look on their faces. He blushed sheepishly.
I don't know how long I can do this. Sorry, I'm coming.
He got into his train and backed up. Wait, what? He got into his train. So this is like a universe where like all the engines are like locomotive drivers?
You didn't gather that from Stanley's silver hair?
No, I know they're people. I knew that, but I'm just trying to figure out the world that what is
they're engine drivers.
That Raffiana established.
It makes sense. Like a lot of people do this. Like it's not the worst I've seen.
Yeah. All right. When Thomas reached Knapford Station, he was greeted with his friend Henry, who was sitting on a bench. Since it took a while for the passengers to board the coaches and get comfortable, Thomas took the opportunity to step out of his cab to talk to Henry.
Hi, Henry.
He greeted as he waved. Henry looked and smiled upon seeing Thomas.
Oh, hello, Thomas.
He smiled. Thomas smiled again. Too many smiles. Thomas smiled as he sat next to Henry. Oh my God! It says smiled like fucking 5 times in a row here.
How are you today, Henry?
Henry smiled before he sneezed. Oh great, we're doing the Magic Railroad version of Henry. Before he sneezed into a tissue.
I'm fine, except for allergies.
Except for my leukemia, he replied.
Oh my God.
What brings you to Knapford? Well, despite picking up your passengers.
Thomas smiled.
Well, you see, it's Valentine's Day. And
We should have read this for a Valentine's Day episode. Sorry, that was like.
Why don't we just release this next Valentine's Day?
My voice will probably be down here at that point.
I mean, so we can do it. It's like the lost episode.
We'll digitally restore it, I suppose.
Yeah, we'll just turn up the pitch 5%.
Yeah. There we go.
Okay.
Thomas smiled a bit nervously.
I smile so much. Oh my God.
Flower.
Well, if I were you, I'd get some flowers for her pronto, incognito.
Okay, so Thomas smiled a bit nervously again.
Flowers for her, he said slowly. Of course.
Something wrong?
Henry asked. Thomas shook his head.
No.
Of course not. Just thinking.
Then the station master blew his whistle. Quickly, Thomas got up and ran to his train, wishing Henry farewell.
Bye!
For the rest of the day, Thomas did all his duties on the branch line, which is one word, like I said, occasionally running into friends and asked how he should confess his feeling to the one he loves.
It must be painful, like running into your friends at full force in the train. Anyways.
Yeah, it's awful. It's not my line.
Oh.
Write her a poem with your true feelings.
Percy exclaimed while jumping up and down, happy that his friend finally found someone to love that wasn't him. When he asked Spencer, Spencer said,
"Act chivalrous. Ladies like a gentleman who appreciates their company."
with such confidence that it nearly knocked Thomas off his feet. And
Ow, my fucking feet!
And of course, when he asked James, "Get a wash down in a new set of clothes, look absolutely fabulous for her. Shall you went the extra mile to please her?" Each time, Thomas would laugh nervously, wanting so badly to explain that it wasn't a girl that he loved, but a homosexual. He took their advice anyways, knowing it could be helpful. Sometime later in the afternoon, Thomas ran into the one man who made his heart flutter.
It was Jacob Jarrett standing on the platform. That's it. That's the end of the story.
No, it's not. You gotta read more.
Can I replace Edward's name with my with my?
Okay, so this.
Oh, okay, I'll just do it.
In the text, Jacob has some sick train fantasy, which is fine. He wants to live this out. So in the text it says,
I changed my mind. I don't want to do this anymore.
Oh, he
Let's
doesn't.
just do it with Edward.
Okay. No means no. All right.
Hello,
well,
Thomas.
Edward greeted him as he walked up to his friend.
Thomas smiled.
Sorry.
Just the person I wanted to see.
Thomas said. Edward chuckled.
Is that so?
He asked. Thomas nodded, feeling his cheeks heat up, and notice we didn't specify which cheeks heated up.
Oh.
Yes, would you please be so kind and meet me at
The Black Lock.
lake today at the sunset?
Would you like to meet me in Compton at the sunset? Edward looked puzzled, but soon smiled and nodded.
Of course I will, Thomas.
Thomas smiled, feeling his other cheeks burn.
Thank you, Edward. I'll see you then.
Edward smiled.
See you then.
As Thomas walked away, he tried his very best not to scream in joy. Oh my god. This is so... Oh, wow! This has a great ending to it, I forgot. Okay. Near the end of the
head?
Let's finish, like, how much? I want to go.
That's cheating, Vinny. You can't skip ahead.
Alright, well...
Oh my god.
I feel like we've kind of run the gambit on this one. Let's just say, Edward and Thomas kiss at the end, and, I'm gonna look through...
Edward and Thomas looked up to the sky and saw a Boeing 737 flying straight towards them, and luckily
no one... here we go. Here's some good
I don't want to do
shit.
this anymore.
Okay, okay, so this is our second...
Vinny.
This is our second issue, and the last one. Here is SODOR High School, Thomas and Friends Tales by... Thomas Zoe 3000. My own series of stories of Thomas and friends in high school. Guess which girl will become Thomas's girlfriend?
Emily, do I win?
The last line in this script is, he looked over at Emily's door and whistled softly. Don't worry, Emily. I won't let anyone or anything hurt you. I promise.
I feel like that's enough. I feel like that we read the whole thing practically. From that one line, I think I've heard all I
Oh my
need
god,
to
listen
hear.
to the final line in the little description here. It says, I hope you'll enjoy the re-edited versions of the first 30 chapters as they come out.
30?
I think we can read the first little bit here.
I think we can read the first 15 by the end of tonight.
Oh, well, I mean, with that enthusiasm, I don't want to stop you. We're like, so let's okay, so last time we went classic, we went Ringo Starr. Who should narrate the SODOR High School episode?
Let's talk about something else.
No, this is good. This is
like
really
Sunshine
juicy.
And Steam.
No, this is good stuff. We gotta learn about chapter 1, which is called Emily the New Girl. So I think Pierce Brosnan should narrate this one. I don't know about you.
Okay, do you want to be the character? You be the character.
No. I can do Pierce Brosnan.
I can do Pierce Brosnan.
Okay, we'll switch. Just get really
Thomas.
Just get really fucking close to your microphone and just... Thomas puffed along Thomas was so sad. I'm so sad, Sir Thomas. Just get really fucking close to your mic.
Thomas! Okay, I can do that.
And like whisper.
Thomas was very happy to see
No,
his
read
friend.
the fucking porn.
Okay.
The sun shone brightly on a warm September's morning as Thomas and his best friend Percy walked along to the high school.
To SODOR High School.
It'll be wonderful to see all our friends again.
Smiled Percy.
It feels like ages since we last saw them.
Percy, you got to talk to them yesterday, remember?
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Both friends laughed as they continued walking along. Both teenagers are at the age of 16, and both go to the SODOR High School.
Thomas and Percy have been the best of friends ever since they were young and foolish.
And exploring their bodies together.
Well, that wasn't what I was going to say, but that's kind of what's implied.
Yeah.
They both live in the town of Farquhar,
And are both top-ranked students in the whole school.
surprised because they're the main characters.
Big shit.
Thomas proudly wears a blue t-shirt with a number 1 on it. Narcissist. Along with his dark blue jeans, black running shoes. That means the running board, isn't it?
Wait, he has wait. He has blue eyes and hair? Does that mean that he has blue eyes and blue hair? Or they just wanted to mention that he didn't look like Stewie Griffin?
No, he has blue eyes and he does in fact have hair.
Okay, so it's not blue hair. Well, Percy, on the other hand...
Percy,
Yes, yeah.
Percy, on the other hand, has a light green t-shirt with a...
Surprise! A number 6 on it.
A number 4 for some fucking reason. He's not Gordon.
He has green hair and brown eyes. Oh. So they
Alright.
do, okay. But he has the same colored jeans and shoes as Thomas does. Wow, it's like they share the same color palette with a different livery.
That's crazy.
As the teens, at the beginning of this, they arrived at the fucking school, they came upon a terrible sight. There were Harry and Bert, the sinister, evil, racist, misogynist,
Who didn't like Black Panther.
I'm not saying that. I'm not ruling anything out.
I didn't
film
say they
tastes are
were
their own.
Hitler, because anyone who didn't think Black Panther was incredible is actually the leader of the Third Reich.
Well, you said it, not me.
like they always do at the beginning of every school year.
Same old Harry and Bert.
Groan, Thomas.
When are they ever going to learn? Who knows?
Sighed Percy.
Well, I better go see what classes we're in for first period.
All right, Percy. I'll see you in class.
No sooner was Percy out of sight than the real trouble began. A scream could be heard coming from Harry and Bert's area. Oh!
Leave me alone!
Cried the voice.
Not a chance, silly girl.
Oozed Harry. Thomas had seen many times in the past where the sinister smelter. How unfortunate that they're named the Smelter Teens.
Yeah, what's this?
Pick
What the
up-
fuck is it? What
pick
does a
on new
smelter
students.
teen mean? I don't know what
It
that
means they work at the smelter's yard. I don't know. And
As
every
teenagers.
and every time he and Percy would make sure that they didn't hurt the newcomers. Thomas was sure at this time that he couldn't handle it alone. He picked up a few rocks and blew a whistle at the teens.
Hey, pea brains.
He threw the rocks. The girls ducked over, while Harry and Bert got concussions and brain damage when he was hit by them. When they were hit by them.
Hey, it's the blue turd.
The blue turd. It's the blue.
Just roll with it.
Sorry,
Just roll with it.
That's not a great.
Cried Bert.
That's not a great Eric Trump impression.
Let's get him, Harry.
Harry and Bert tried to get Thomas, but instead ran into a fucking wall after Thomas moved to the side.
I don't know, Ari and Bert. You always seem to fall for that every time.
Wow, it's like they're as stupid as they are in season 8. Chuckled Thomas. I mean,
Fine.
Thomas.
You stop. Can you just stop being... don't pick on the news dudes. Okay, fine, we'll stop.
So, Harry.
For today, anyways. I mean, like, maybe tomorrow we'll go, like, rape Mavis in the quarry or something, because she's got a nice cowcatcher skirt thing going on. It's really hot.
Harry and Bert scuttled away. Then Thomas looked over to the girl.
Where the fuck did we go? Oh, there it is. Are you are you okay?
Yes, I am fine.
She said. The girl had green hair with 2 ponytails sticking out on both sides of her head.
I think my entire dick just shriveled up right there. I think it burnt up like a cigarette. Like, that was just disgusting.
Sad. She also wore a dark green t-shirt with a brown line
A brown line design. I wonder what that could indicate.
regular blue jeans and black running shoes.
I like how the narrator reads character descriptions that are like not dialogue, or just like it shouldn't be, whatever.
These aren't from the wiki. These aren't accurate. Thomas held out his hand.
We should
Read the fucking line! Just read the next line!
We should copy paste these character descriptions and put them into the livery section on the wiki.
You know what? I do have power on the wiki since I'm friends with Johnny N. I should just. What if I just did that?
He just. Emily has green hair and 2 points. Alright, let me help you up.
I fucking forgot where we were. He said kindly.
Thank you.
What does that mean?
Thank you.
Smiled the girl, grabbing onto his hand with both of her hands.
So,
Oh
like, they're
my.
basically
Oh
they're
my.
basically at home plate at this point.
Thomas had helped the girl back to her feet.
I like
China.
how it says in no time Thomas had helped the girl back to her feet. Like that's something that you would say in the classic series. Is like, in no time Thomas was back on the rail.
In the show where it actually does
that's
take.
when you say when it's a real locomotive getting pulled out of a ditch or off of a bridge or something. You would not say in no time at all. I don't think, if it was a fucking human.
Vinny, I think you're being over literal with this Thomas fanfiction.
It's interesting, of course, and that's the thing. Is the reason that we're reading this is not only because it's funny, but
we're really big fans. We actually
we're
like
really big fans, and we wanted to share this on the podcast with you, which is why we're uploading this. This whole audio broadcast will be sent to the world so that we can, hear the true erotic tension here. It's something just truly incredible, Yeah, it's incredible. But where the fuck? Or we really should end the scene when we should stop reading when the scene ends. But
because there's 30 chapters. I don't know, Vinny.
There's 30 fucking
I think
chapters.
we have a lot of material for a really good podcast. I feel like there's a lot to talk about here. Like, imagine, like, we could be doing the podcast for forever and ever.
Honestly,
and ever.
I hope that Matt never comes back, because we could just go through fanfiction.net and just read every single one of these little bits. This is our new podcast. We're no longer gonna There's no more tweet times. There's no more guest stars. It's just me and Jacob genuinely, non-ironically reading Thomas fanfiction, and we'll edit in, like, sound effects and music and, like, squishy noises whenever necessary.
Wah, wah, wah.
Just add in the occasional, like, or something like that.
Wah,
You know.
wah, wah.
But I think we're good. Reading ahead.
Let's just skip down. Let's just skip down to the last line and really just wrap it up here. Let's really just tie this little nice
Good
little
night.
bow on this.
Good night, Emily, smiled Thomas. I'll see you in the morning. He carefully closed his eyes and the door behind him and headed off back to his bedroom. Annie and Clarabelle, however, were not ready. Okay, we'll do Alec Baldwin now. Annie and Clarabelle were not ready for sleep. They wanted to hear a story.
Tell us the story of the magical lady, Thomas.
Pleaded Annie.
I love hearing that story because I'm a sassy African-American woman for some fucking reason.
Okay. All right.
I know what to do. He chuckled. Dad? Who the is that Sir Topham Hatt? Dad usually tells the story more often than he does any other stories. He sighed and gave in. Very well, I will tell you the story. He followed them into their room and sat down in the chair, which sat between the girls' beds. Then Thomas began to tell the story. One time, a long time ago, a special gift was given to the people of Sodor. A magical lady who could grant wishes and make the impossible possible, impossible possible. For years, the lady lived happily until an evil man came and tried to get... Fucking Britt Allcroft was so terrible with naming her characters that there's not even... They don't even need to, like, rename it or redo it. It just sounds... The plot that they're explaining here is the lady. They just add the word the, and all of a sudden... I will never understand why
it sounds
the magical...
equally as uninspired as Britt Allcroft did when she was writing the movie.
I know, it's bizarre. I don't know why she chose to name the character Lady. I remember I was trying in like 6th grade. I wanted to do a nostalgia critic kind of video with Magic Railroad, and I wrote a joke in the review that was basically, if the engine's name is Lady, then couldn't there be like a scene where Sir Topham Hatt is at Brendam Docks with the new engines and with the engines introducing the new character. Shomishin Percy, this is Gentleman. His name is Gentleman. Hey guys, how's it going? He's like suave, like a James Bond character. Like, what the fuck? Why Lady? Why not just like some kind of elegant
there's
name?
real life engines called Cock of the North.
Well, yeah, but there's not real life engines out there named Ferdinand and Den or Dart.
Maybe there are. You don't know that.
I guarantee you there isn't a single real locomotive out there named Dash. I really don't think there is a Bash.
No.
Nor a Dash, nor a Splatter, nor a Dodge.
I would bet that there is a Dash. That actually does
highly
sound like
doubt-
a name for a train. Oh,
Well-
here comes Dash. It's like a speedy little shunter diesel.
Yeah, Splatter and Dodge, though. I don't think so.
Let's not roll anything out here.
The two later settled down and had a couple of kids. Life was good until the day the magical lady disappeared. Now I'm just imagining like this homeless woman with like telekinetic powers living in the woods disappearing. Legend has it that she disappeared somewhere around the Muffle Mountain, and should anyone find her, she will grant them any wish. What is she, a fucking leprechaun? What? Thomas looked at his two sisters, and like the many times his father told the story, he found them fucking bored and fast asleep from sheer dehydration. I don't know. He walked slowly out of their room and closing the door gently behind him. As he walked back to his room, he thought back over the entire day's events and remembered seeing Emily's sad eyes. He looked over to Emily's door and whispered softly,
Don't worry,
Don't worry, Emily. I won't let anything happen. I won't. Fuck, I fucked it up. Don't worry, Emily. I won't let
I promise.
anyone hurt you. I promise.
Amazing.
Oh, wait! Oh my god, look at the bottom! This was just the first chapter! Look at the bottom, you can scroll through all the chapters!
Ah, I see. Anyways, speaking
enough
of amazing
material
fan
here
fiction, let's watch the TCC.
Okay, thank you everyone for listening to this episode of the Grease and Oil
That's it?
Podcast.
Is this really where we're gonna end it? Are you kidding me?
Today's episode was brought to you by NatureBox. Like I said, NatureBox is a frequent supporter of the show. And NatureBox, you can get a whole box of deer shit that comes to your door every...
We
just
didn't
coughed
even
directly
get to
into the
watch the
mic.
TCC. I was really excited for the new
Well,
Boulder
okay,
episode.
the TCC. We've been reading porn today, and you can go watch, your TCC porn now. But it's all. I think the TCC and this fan fiction, it's equally erotic and stimulating. And I realize that majority of our audience is like 9 to 13-year-old boys who are always on Roblox or whatever. In which case, you can basically say that after listening to this podcast, you made it to third base with a girl. And if you ever do actually, if any of you actually do ever, try to seduce a woman, maybe late middle school or high school or whenever, I think a great idea for a first date is reading some of these stories.
Is taking them to watch the Grease and Oil podcast.
Is taking them to a day out with
widescreen
Thomas.
TV.
Because, taking a beautiful woman to a day out with Thomas is something that Jacob and Isaiah did, and it really worked. Let's just say the following night was certainly interesting.
I'm just saying, if a man got down on one knee and gave me a day out with Thomas ticket, I'd jump in his car.
I thought you were
We'd
about
go
to say.
straight to third base.
I thought you were about to say if a man got down on one knee and gave me Down syndrome. I don't think you can get Down syndrome through oral sex. But
I don't think it can get worse. Anyways,
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I'm not gonna rule anything out. I'm just saying. If a man came to me and said, "Jacob Jarrett, would you please go to Down with Thomas with me?" I think we'd get married that night. I think I would. I think I would marry him in Thomas's cab.
We would have some minimum gauge engines in the workshop ready for birth pretty soon.
You sure would. That's I'm telling you. Sure would.
Always wear protection. Always make sure that your shunters fasten all of your couplings, and always make sure to tune in to the Grease and Oil podcast. Next week, we're going to have a very interesting episode. If it comes out next week, maybe it'll come out in 2 weeks, but in the near future, we'll have a very unique episode that's unlike anything we've ever done before. I'm really excited to do that, and thank you for tolerating this eroticism, or maybe it's not toleration, maybe it's enjoyment. I like to think it's enjoyment.
I enjoyed it very much. I really got a kick out of this.
Lady, the magical homeless lady who lives in the woods and doesn't shave anywhere. She loved it, so thank you for listening.
I'm going to clear my internet history now.
That's good. That's good.